hey, everyone. We came on like the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse all at one time. Everybody's channel.
4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
We should have like 1.5 million viewers tonight.
1.5 million viewers.
So, well, obviously we've been hanging out for a while and sitting and chatting. And we're like, you know what? Let's go live and see what everybody's up to tonight. And so we've already been talking for what, an hour in the back room. Yeah. So now we get to bring you guys in. So if you didn't see last night's chat on Charlie's channel, it was amazing.
Oh, yeah,
that was
rewind.
Especially at about 1 hour and 50 minutes when Corey Stevens joined the chat with us.
We had more than a full house.
Yep.
Oh yeah, it was pretty amazing. So right now, here's how the stats on the viewers are.
And my bat line is ringing.
We got 12 on Charlie's, 5 on Brad's, 19 on mine, and 1 in Loma Vista. Todd, are you watching on your own channel?
No, I am not actually.
So
there's me, Todd.
How do you know that, Bob?
I can see it from the live stream when you mouse over the little how many viewers you have. It'll show what it is.
Thank you to the loyal viewer.
The loyal.
That's me. I'm watching on your channel, Todd.
I'm watching on yours, Brad.
I didn't want you to miss out.
Oh, geez.
Hey, we got someone from Australia. Good to see you, Totally Bush. So today was, for me, work day, right? In the honey house. My son came and we put together every box I had and every frame I had to assemble. I say we, primarily him, but you know, I was the pace picked up when I was in the room. I'll just say that, you know, boss is there, things get done, right? So, yeah, we just had a day working out there and trying to get stuff done, and he was a big help. First time since I've been beekeeping that I've actually had someone there helping me, well, do anything, to be honest with you. So that was a welcome little bit of help there. So, Brad, what'd you do today?
Oh, I had a good day in the shop. I finished off my 6-frame covers. So they're all stacked on the pallet and wrapped up and put off to the side and
ready to go to the dipper, right?
Ready to go to the Big Dipper in the sky. And I started prepping for assembling 10-frame covers tomorrow. So yeah, big developments around here. I'm switching from 6-frame covers, wait for it, to 10-frame covers. So
wow.
That's progress, ladies and gentlemen. That's progress.
So is the factory going to shut down? You have to retool for like 2 weeks and then start up again?
I know we're pretty nimble in my shop. We're pretty nimble. I've already started, actually.
You can adjust on the fly like that?
Yeah. Well, we got to keep everything organized and keep it lined up. So we got 58 down and 200 to go.
Well, you should be done tomorrow then.
Yeah, you're a funny guy.
I'll send my son up, but you got to pay him a good wage.
Yeah, you don't think I can afford your son?
I can't afford my son. Hope said he held his first beginner beekeeper course today. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, good for you.
Should have let me know. I would have came up and watched, learned something for sure.
Yeah, I could use one of those, I think.
You know, I think a refresher course every once in a while would be helpful.
I think so. Every year I go out there and I think, what am I supposed to do again?
Yeah, I find myself that, you know, we just get that analysis paralysis where we know what to do. It's just like, for some reason, it just doesn't, the synapses aren't firing up there to let you know that, oh, yeah. You know, this is what I'm supposed to do.
This job is so different as you progress through the year. You know, you start in the spring and and you go through, and even the summer with the bees, it's very, 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 very different. And then you get into the winter and things go. I mean, my winter goes all the way over to wood shop, and I got to figure that out and remember what I'm doing there, and then go back into bees and go back into trying to get them to survive in the spring, and then try to keep them from swarming, and try to do some splits, and try to raise some queens, and then you got to harvest some honey, and then you got to feed the bees, and you have to do the whole extracting and all of that kind of stuff. So,
Well, you made a great point on a stream a couple months ago, I guess now, where you said if you've been beekeeping 10 years, you've only done everything 10 times.
that's right. That's right. So how many times you have to do something to make to really, make it make you an expert at it? More than 10 times, I'd wager.
Well, they say most people have to hear something at least 3 times before they identify that.
What'd you say, Bob?
Yeah, see? You got 3 times, 3 times, 3 times.
And if you're a doctor, it's 8 times.
8 times?
3 times?
Yeah, 8 times. Yeah.
So
Where are you located again, Bob?
That's serious. That's serious.
that's right. It's under the right one of those sides. That's can't point that way.
It's up there somewhere.
There, it's over there. So man, I'm getting a lot of links in. So that means everybody's watching from different channels. So I may not be the guy right now. Let's see.
Am I stuck at 1?
I got 22 and Charlie's got 19. That's because he's got the notoriety. I don't have the notoriety.
I don't have notoriety either.
Well, am I at 2 now?
You're at 3. What'd you call your daughter while we were sitting here? Call your 2 daughters and tell them, hey,
I call
give me a solid. You don't have to listen to it. Just put it on and let it run.
Just leave it. Just leave it on for a while.
Oh, I got a monster climbing on me.
Charlie, how many colonies
for an answer?
Do what?
It sounds like it's dramatic, but he lost 2 colonies off of his honey production, right?
4.
4 colonies.
I think. Well, there's one that's got some bees in it, and as far as I'm concerned, it's a dead colony. So I got 50. I'd say close to 50%.
Well, that's
But last summer, right in the middle of the honey flow, I had 4 honey production hives go down on me when it came to the queens. And then I tried to take my insurance nukes and probably some, at that time, I think I had some queens in the mating boxes. And I had, try to paper in some nukes into that. And it worked for a while. And if you remember talking back then, I had the queen and I kept checking in this one box. It gave me grief all summer long. She wasn't laying. Everybody said, well, get some, drones. And I said, there's no drones. The drones are just gone. And right. I guess because of the season. And I mean, and also I think we had a drought and that seemed to have some influence too.
Now you guys.
So my main thing is now my plan is I believe that's, it's like with Brad and, trying to keep fresh queens on at least no more than 2 years old and some new genetics. So, I mean, I'm looking at maybe getting some Corey queens, I've got 6 nukes coming in from Cutix. They're Carney, whatever crosses.
They're cute canines.
Whatever, And I don't know. I got a friend of mine up here. I got to talk to him. He's got some really nice gentle bees. Now, whether they're honey producers or not, I don't know.
I got some nice bees you can come get.
Yeah, you can keep that one.
And the price is right on them too. If you could survive breaking them down, you can grab a nuke out of them for free of charge, Charlie. I'll let you take that queen and everything.
Free's good.
I got one like that right now. I got to work on. But that's my plan. I mean, I'm just going to have to rebuild. I had this happen to me in my nuke yard about 3-4 years ago. I think that was more of a varroa mite situation where I hadn't developed my varroa mite treatment plan like I got it now. And I was relying on oxalic acid multiple times a week and so many continuous weeks and not treating throughout the winter. And I think that I thought I was getting the mites, but I wasn't getting the mites. So that's some of those issues.
It's hard to determine, right?
It's hard to determine really pretty much everything when it comes to beekeeping, it seemed like.
Yeah.
And, it's like, like you're talking about like the alcohol washes, a lot of talk we talked about last night. And it's an indicator, but you really can't be absolutely certain what's going on. I mean, it's like, well, Brad had issues last spring. Ian had tremendous issues last spring. Even the best have issues, with their queens and
the best and me.
Huh? What's that?
I say the best have issues, and I do too.
Well, I mean, let's face it.
Don't lump me in with the best, my friend.
Well, you and Ian both do one thing, and that's you depend on your bees. It's your livelihood, and that's a major issue. And with me, it's a hobby. It's a sideline. It does bring in some extra income, and I've got it to the point where the bees do pay for all their expenses and stuff. And I just like to be. You think you got it kind of key dialed in, and then all of a sudden they turn right around and change the rules on you. What gets me about bees?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm still here, but I think I have to jump out and jump back in.
Because you're frozen.
Yeah, so I'll be right back.
Hey, Darren.
Let's see.
But so if I can get some genetics and I'll have to start a plan of, and also keep quality records of which hives have whose queens in them and their years, what year they are.
Yeah. That can be really important. I was going to throw something in last night. We're talking about queens and we're talking specifically about varroa resistance, and not about queens specifically, but varroa resistance, varroa control. My comment is, when I started keeping bees 9 years ago, the community was not optimistic. The community was very down about the varroa situation and the lack of tools we had to battle varroa. And, in the last 3 years or so, it's been really exciting to see things coming on, on the market or on the scene. And I'm sorry about this guy. He just has a mind of his own.
Well, he just wants some loving.
Oh, I know. Don't we all? With the advent of more people breeding VSH genetics, and with, there's an RNAi tool coming along. There's, Randy Oliver's done a ton of stuff. And of course, one of the things that come out of there is this extended release oxalic acid formulations. There's been a lot of really good things coming along. And I'm very thankful for that, because I'm battling varroa like everybody else, and sometimes it seems to be getting the best of me. So I think it's an optimistic time in that regard, to be honest.
Yeah, I want to address Russell Koopman's. Do you think my situation was due to older queens or disease? I think it's most of the queens that I had were supposed to have been 23 queens. But I think also they possibly were poorly mated, and maybe poor genetics, a combination of everything. I'm grafting off of my stock. Well, is my stock all that great? Well, I'm starting to question my B stock after this year, and I think that I need to. If you can get yourself genetics over the next couple of years of some quality stuff, let's say with Corey, I mean, we believe that he has some good stuff. It sounds like the testing situation is good, and that kind of a thing, and then start breeding from those queens, and to keep that genetics going. I think that's how it's going to work. I think
Yeah,
solve the
and from
problem.
our discussion last night, that the multiple year thing, right, that we were talking about earlier was that if you replace a queen this year, really you need to do it in successive years, right? As far as the new stock you're bringing in, because her drones won't have her genetics until really next year, or if she lays, gets big enough to lay drones this year, as far as the colony. So,
her drones will have only her genetics, but she won't be contributing to the mating drone pool considerably this season. So I think if you go 2 seasons, like if you were to buy some VSH lineage, of course you got to, you can't have a VSH virgin because she's never been tested, right? You can't do an assay on a virgin queen, but if it comes from that line, you introduce that into your operation, she'll mate with whatever drones are in the area. However, any drones she lays will carry her genetics alone. Drones have no father. So it's 100% the queen's genetics, what she's laying. So every time you get one of those queens, mated or not, she's going to be spitting out the VSH line drones. So if you do that 2 years in a row or more, then you should be building yourself up some VSH
And then
genetics,
Doug here,
in my opinion.
He's talking about, didn't my queens give me a good crop? Actually, they did. I did have to requeen in the middle of the season because those original queens went down on me. And the ones that I had in my spare stock, I put right in there and papered them in. And they did. And I got about 1,000 pounds out of 12 hives, I think it was. 80. Basically, it was 80 pounds per hive, which is 30 some pounds per hive more than what our average is for our state.
Yeah, and Three Boys Bees here said, I quit treating last year and got Corey's queens. I've lost 90%, but I still have some bees. Yeah, so, and that's the misnomer that we talked about last night, right? Is, yes, you are getting from a line that is Varroa sensitive, does not mean your queen is Varroa sensitive. You still have to test that. So if you're gonna do that, then you probably should at least test and treat as you go along, right? And make sure that what you've got is performing up to standard. Because when you bring back Corey's queens and they're getting mated in your yard, you're still introducing your current genetics into the line. So her offspring may not be as Varroa sensitive.
But if you're not breeding from that queen, like for example, if you requeened every colony with VSH queen virgin, and then she'll mate, right? And then if you're grafting or breeding off only those queens, then you're not, because all of the genetic material, well, no, what I'm saying isn't true, is it? Because then the genetic material from what you've grafted does come from the drones that she mated with. So, yeah, sorry, Bob, what you're saying is actually 100% true.
So then she's
It's
laying bees
the
that
drones,
only have 50% of,
perhaps. Yeah.
assuming it's a perfect world, 50% mom, 50% male,
And
right? Whatever
an
genetics
average,
are coming from that male line, wherever they're coming from, is what you're breeding with. Now, next year, then you're
next
starting.
year your drones are reliable. Next year your drones are reliable.
Right.
I wonder if you could, and this comes in. This would rely on the time it takes for a drone to be laid and be ready for mating, which is about 40 days, isn't it? No, it's about 30. It's about 34 days for that to happen. If you could buy this queen, and especially if it's a mated queen, if you got a mated VSH queen, put that in a nuke or something, and somehow get her to lay drones, call all your other drones, and get those genetics out there in the drones. And I'm meaning you won't have to just do one of them. You're going to have to do a whole bunch of them to get enough drones. I wonder if you can get enough drones out there in that period of time, and then do some grafting off of some of those queens that'll then mate with those drones. And yes, I know you do need a number of them, probably 40 or 50 colonies,
So
to get some diversity in order to flood with those drones.
So Brian C. asked a
first
good
year.
question. He says, is it really next year or the next cycle of drones?
It's the next cycle of drones. However, that's the question I'm asking. Can you force that next cycle of drones to be the new drones? Or because generally colonies in my area, generally colonies that you make this year, they're not going to lay drones, because they're not going to be mature enough and strong enough and virile enough to want to lay drones
Right.
that early.
And usually by the time you put a
So
queen in and, she flies out and gets mated and comes back and starts laying, you're looking at almost a month that colony's been in decline. So,
right. And my season is so compressed that I don't think I have that time. So probably I'll have to do this twice. I'll have to get them this year, overwinter them, then they'll start laying drones, and then I can start getting those same genetics in the drones and the queens to do my grafting.
Right.
This year I'll still get an improvement probably this year, but it'll be a bigger improvement next year when I'm working off of the drones from the VSH queens.
And that's kind of the whole principle. Like when I started thinking about the grafting I did last year, are my colonies better than they were last year? Yes. However, they still were mated with my crappy drones from the previous years, right? Or the previous queens, or you know what I mean? The less the bees that I'm trying to replace. So this year, if I repeat the process, then or process, depending how you want to say it, hopefully there'll be an improvement. Let me see. So, hey, Bruce and Brian, glad to see you guys are enjoying the show up there.
Ziggy there's got a point. It's definitely the viruses. It's Varroa. I believe that Varroa, the damage that Varroa does, if it was only Varroa, we wouldn't have much of a problem.
Right.
It's the viruses.
Virus load.
Yeah, the viral load.
It's and then that whole study keeps creeping up in my mind the more that 265-page study that you sent me about the
With no conclusions.
with no conclusions, but it makes sense though. I mean, why is it that the first year that you have a colony and you grow them up and you do very little to them except for treat them, they do pretty good and mostly over winter.
Or in my case, you don't treat them at all, and 0% loss the first winter.
And then every year, your comb is getting older and older and exposed to more and more whatever, Roundup, pesticides, herbicides, whatever else it's bringing in, Carolina jasmine, whatever it is, and then every year that comb's getting older and we continue to use it, even if it's a dead out. And I'm guilty as charged. How many times have I said, well, I've got this dead out, I'm just going to use that comb or drop that box on top of a colony, right? Not thinking about, well, why did they die out? Was it something in that comb that killed those bees or something else? But we do it.
Which
just
presenter talked about that? One of the presenters at the convention talked about that, right? She said, you might want to think twice about dumping new bees on that dead out comb.
Yeah, unfortunately, I was in the other room for all except for about 3 of them. So
sorry, buddy.
But I mean,
but that comment was made. Yeah.
So
maybe that's the difference. Maybe that's the difference between first year success and then 8 years of decline.
It could be. That's why I'm gonna do hopefully with these new colonies I've got coming. Not hopefully. Other than the comb that they've got, they're going to draw their own comb. Brand new.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put it to the test. Does it mean they're going to survive? No. But I think they have the greatest chance of survival that way.
I've been using a lot of my freshly drawn honeycomb for that. Assuming that the honeycomb won't have as large a viral load as a brood comb, but that's only an assumption. I don't have any science behind that necessarily. It seems to me, because it's a first year comb, right? It doesn't have year after year buildup. So I've been using a lot of that in the brood chambers, swapping that out in the spring.
And here's the other thing, if we're going down this rabbit hole tonight, what if we cull that comb and then we go and melt it down, then we go and roll it back on our fresh foundation to put back in our colonies?
Yeah, there is a lot that heat will kill, but not everything. If there's chemical saturation in that wax, then it's definitely not gonna kill that. It'd probably kill a lot of the viruses.
So but are you raising it? I mean, it's not hot enough to sterilize it. It's just hot enough to melt the wax, right?
Yeah.
So
that's right.
I mean, it's just food for thought, right? So just brainstorming.
It's one of those things. There seems to be no way out.
Yeah, and very few people outside of beekeepers even think about it, right? I mean, I'm just gonna kill this whatever dandelions in my yard, and oh yeah, thanks, buddy. Not only did you kill those dandelions, but $1,000 in my colonies. Thank you, appreciate it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I have a pretty clean area, but I've recently been thinking, what's going on in this area? Is there something killing my bees? You can't help but think that.
Yeah, Jeremy just said, weren't you saying your best survival you ever had? Yeah, exactly. As far as percentage, the first year, right? It was all brand new comb. It overwintered perfect, no problems. But after that, now you're starting to use comb that was maybe hive beetles slimed out, and you got what you could.
You put pesticides in there because you've been using Amatraz, right?
Yep.
Well, we've all done that.
Well, I mean, I just saw a comment where you use, OA in the winter, Apivar in the spring, and Apigard late summer and repeat, right? Peabody's raw honey. But I'm going more of the way that Bob Binney's saying. He's trying to get away from using any chemicals in his colony. And, it might be a pipe dream, but I think less is more in that aspect.
I'm committed to do that too. It's organic acids and essential oils kind of thing.
Well,
essential oil products.
And man, you need to release that video because there's a great study on that one that Robin Underwood did. I think it was Robin, wasn't it? Robin, Dr. Robin Underwood did that had. She broke down. It was a 3-year study, and it was no treatments at all against synthetic chemicals and basically
there was conventional treatment, so anything's on the table, right? Everything's by label and used normally, but it was conventional treatments. And then there was organic treatments, organic acids, etc. So no amitraz, no synthetic acaricides, stuff like that. And then there was a third group was zero treatments at all, and there were some pretty interesting results. Somewhat predictable, but it was interesting to see.
But those last two, they were basically even between using we'll just take the treatment free, but the other two categories were about even on
the conventional treatments and the organic treatments. Yeah, there was not much difference, as I recall.
And so that made me
work.
What's that?
It's not that they don't work.
They just work equally as well.
Well, I think some of them
or equally as bad if you're a
oxalic acid vapor. If you want to talk about oxalic acid vapor, doesn't really do much at all when there's a bunch of brood, right? So there's a difficulty using it, and I got a sneeze coming on. Sorry.
It comes in threes. They come in threes.
They usually do. But you want to use formic acid. Okay, well, you can't use it when it's too hot. And if it's too cold, it doesn't work.
Right.
There's a problem. So you want to use some Apivar? Don't use it in honey flow. That's the only rule. Right? It doesn't matter what temperature it is. It doesn't matter if there's brood or not because it's a 42-day treatment. All this kind of stuff. So that's easy.
And the mites get resistant.
That's the gotcha, right? That's the gotcha. But if it's working, boy, is it nice. You just drop that little strip in there. You come back 6 weeks later, you pull the thing out. But
well, the bad thing is you don't know that it don't work until it's too late.
Until it don't work. Yeah. Once you figure out it's not working, it's kind of like, what are you going to do now, big fella? It's, I don't know. It's too cold.
You've already driven off the
acid. It's too cold to use formic acid in the fall, and it's oxalic acid is going to kill the mites, but it's not going to kill the viruses, and my hives are now walking dead.
So with there's a 2-part question here, I think, or one part broken into two things. It says, Brad, we have no idea year to year what resources have for the bees. Each year is different as far as quantity and quality of nutrients, vitamins, minerals, etc. How do we know? It is hard, but like
I hope you don't expect me to answer that question. It's a good question.
Well, with the like you actually sent your mites off to the lab to have them tested, and they were amitraz resistant.
Yeah. I would say, you have to do that kind of thing. You can't just say, oh, my mites are amitraz resistant. Well, if the lab hasn't told you that, then you're just
guessing,
grasping at straws, right? You're just exactly, you're guessing. So get with the labs, get your bees tested, get your mites tested, get whatever.
Yeah, after 2 weeks with Apivar, I see almost no drops. Those first 3 days are the most with the strips. Honestly, I take off after 21 days. Yeah, that's kind of been my experiences. I've used them. Now, I will say that like Ian and some other people were complaining about their strips from a couple years ago, and the last strips that I bought could have been from that group because I bought them at Hive Life last year, not this past one, but the one previous, and they didn't do very well. My bees ended up not doing very well, so it was I don't know. I didn't get them tested, but it could have been that. Right now I'm happy with the thing that I'm using. It seems to be doing well for me. And everybody here knows what it is, and most of the people in the chat know what it is, so I don't feel like I need to bring it up what it is. But
I hope for that too. That's just another option, which is really nice, and it's not a synthetic acaricide. It's not, synthetic anything put in the hive. It's just a nutritional supplement. Right. So I have high hopes for that too. I really hope it takes.
See, and that's what Brian, what you're bringing up right there is exactly why I'm a proponent for what I've got. Every single other thing out there is like, you have to do this after this many days and this after this many days, or reapply gel after 2 weeks, or you have to
talk about Apivar, Brian. See,
yeah, but I don't think that's in the direction.
Not on the label.
You have to get a new label submitted for that.
It's not on the label at all.
Yeah, that's an off-label issue.
I don't know
right
who
there.
says you're supposed to do it, but
that's the whole point. That's why I like what I'm using, because it's simple. You just put it on the hive and forget about it, right? For me, that falls right into my beekeeping method, right? I work a day job. I get out there when I can. I do as much as I can with the time that I have. And then if not, I'll do the rest of it tomorrow. So for me to say, well, I got to do this now, and then 2 weeks later, I got to come back, or, something like that. It's just simpler for me. Special tablet.
Sorry. Rowing in the same boat with a special tablet.
And there's other people bigger than me that are rowing in the same boat right now too. So
and that's all we'll say.
Yeah, that's all we're gonna say about that.
All we're gonna say about that.
I don't want to bring up any drama, but hey, if you read the streamer across the bottom, you can get that special tablet with free shipping. Since I think this is St. Patty's Day weekend, isn't it?
It is.
So there you go. St. Lucky the Irish. We're going to say that.
On St. Patrick's Day, everybody's Irish.
That's it.
Except the Scottish. We're still Scottish. I don't know what that means, but I think it's funny.
So yeah, you guys want to open up the chat? Or Todd, you guys got anything to say? You guys just been diligently listening down there.
Just have my ears on. No, I do want to point out about the scratching of the strips. Yeah, everybody does it. I'm just saying, if that was in the well, first of all, it's not in the directions. And yeah, I've done it before, but I haven't used Apivar in like 5 years. But we're only saying, or I'm only saying, it's off label because it's not in the directions. Doesn't mean you can't use it.
Right.
You could use it in any way you want to, right? So I do have a kind of a slight hesitation about the 21-day use, only because of resistance. So even though that thing is not spewing out amitraz, there's still some small level of amitraz out there going out of that or on that strip. And so when the bees walk over it, they're picking that up and spreading it around. So it's not that the strip stops after around 21 days or is no good after 21 days or is not efficacious after 21 days. It's just that you're getting a major mite drop in that first 3 or 4 weeks. But the thing is, if you leave it in until, what is it, 42 days, 55, whatever it is.
Yeah, minimum 42.
Yeah, so you're almost assuring that most of that medication that's in there is getting out and stopping, the or not stopping, but it's not allowing the mites to build up some sort of resistance.
Well, that's 2 brood cycles, right?
Correct.
So,
yeah.
Because it doesn't go under the cappings, then
Correct.
you're
Yeah.
you're relying on that cycle,
Yeah.
and mites become resistant to that kind of thing after a while. Anyway, we've had a pretty good run with it. It's lasted a long time, a lot longer than anything else ever has.
Yeah.
But I will say that the label, following directions on the label, is the best way to mitigate resistance. Right. Every time you stray from that label, you're playing with resistance. Like you're possibly accelerating resistance if you're fudging that label at all. So
Yeah.
I can't stress enough. You need to use this stuff by the label, especially synthetics.
Now, Brian, I just went up there, but Brian said something about Vito Pharma has a tutorial video that shows repositioning and scraping the strips. Yeah, okay.
Repositioning is on the label.
Yeah.
I've not read anything on the label about scratching the strip.
Again, look who we're. Well, I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole, but the organization in charge of labeling and stuff like that, these sort of things might not be on their radar screen as much as as other things. So they might allow a video that shows scraping to go on for a while, thinking that it's just going to fade away anyway.
Perhaps but a video isn't a label. Like the label is the law. Videos are
the
not
label
the law.
is the law, correct?
And this is my point: is the label is the law.
Yep.
And if somebody says this, or a brochure says that, or a video says something else, the label is the law.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well, let's face it, everybody, I'll say 99%, I'm sure there's somebody out there, but everybody's doing off-label stuff, right?
Oh, yeah. Hey, even doctors do. Don't
the only thing is, if you're going to do it, then you do it. And if you don't do it, then you don't do it. Yeah. But don't pick and choose.
Correct.
Don't pick and choose what is off-label and what is on-label and what's okay and what's not.
And
if you're going to do it, then you can do it.
Down anybody's neck about label and on-label and off-label. When it comes to acaricide, when it comes to synthetic acaricides, however, every time you stray from the label, you are potentially and likely hastening resistance in your mites, because the label is specifically formulated with when they did the studies on the product,
correct,
to mitigate resistance forming.
It's how they use the product
and
saw the results, and that's how the label becomes.
That's all I'm saying. Yeah. I'm not saying anybody's bad. I'm not getting down anybody's throat. I don't want to make any enemies here. I'm just saying.
Well, at the end of the day, when it comes down to legalities, you're responsible for the product and stuff you're putting out to your customers for your honey. And if it comes down to it and somebody gets sick, and they're going to come to you because you sold the honey, and they're going to ask you what you did. And if you are honest and tell them that, well, I do this and I do that, and it's not on the label, you're the one that's out to dry. Not.
Yeah, if you're using Apivar strips throughout the honey flow, right? That's a problem.
Good luck to you.
And it's not on the label.
Yeah, synthetics, you don't mess with the labels.
I think that's where a lot of the problems come from with specifically, what's killing our honeybees. I think a lot of the problems come from people using things off label. And I'm not talking about beekeepers using, what we're just discussing, but somebody spraying something on say an apple tree. It says on the label, don't spray it on the apple tree while there's blooms present. Why is that? Well, that's because you're going to kill the bees. That's why. So don't do it. People do it anyway, right? People use stuff off label all the time, and it causes problems. And then we just blame the umbrella of the pesticides. Well, where the actual problem is the person using the pesticides contrary to the label.
Right.
That's the biggest problem. But, it's human nature. You can't,
Well,
whatever.
I mean, like the same thing with the strawberries. The law says they have to spray at night, but they don't say what time at night or anything like that, right? So are they spraying it just before dawn? Do they get there extra early one morning to spray it while it's still dark outside? And then it's bright and fresh in the morning when the sun comes up, and, there you go, your bees, right?
Well, most of this stuff that's used is actually contact kill, and it breaks down really fast. So it's meant to spray it on whatever pest they're trying to kill, and it kills it, and it breaks down in sometimes minutes, sometimes like half an hour. The stuff is water, right? So a lot of times there's not this huge residual that goes on for hours or days.
Yeah, because it would contaminate the soil.
Well, sure it would.
What about leaving the strips in all winter like I see on YouTube? That's a bad idea to me.
Well, if you want resistant mites, then do that.
Yeah, I forgot some in my, missed them in the hive before.
Yeah, there's
I've
a
missed them
specific
too.
time period. It's I wish I had it. I think it's 42 to 56 days or something like that, or 58 or something like that.
51.
But, yeah,
It's just another
specific-
7 days.
Yeah. So yeah, leaving them in past that's not good either.
No, because then it becomes a low level, and low level exposure to any synthetic is going to, hasten resistance.
42 to 56.
56.
Yeah. 42 to 56 days.
42 to 56, it's another 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Right? 14 days. So I was saying 51, I thought it was
So 2.5 root
one,
cycles.
but that would be 49. Right.
2.5 root cycles? Yeah.
Yeah, I never leave my amatraz more than 49.
See, so this is exactly what we're talking about off-label, right? Everybody does it, but that's a catch-all, right? If you do it and somebody gets sick, they can come back and say, well, we said only use 1 gram and you're using this much, because at the end of the day, they don't really care if the mites die.
Yeah.
That's safety at that point, right? Now, as far as I know, OA won't do anything to anything, but even, the use of it during the honey flow, like they say you can do. Well, yeah, at one gram.
OA is actually, as acids go, OA is one of the strongest acids in the world. Now, as far as resistance goes, and as far as using things off label, my comments are chiefly aimed at synthetics, right? Because synthetics are very highly tested and controlled as far as how they need to be used and how they need to be not used. And I mean, United States, you can use oxalic acid vapor with honey supers present, right? So what does that tell you? It tells you that there's a acceptable risk or acceptable amount of oxalic acid makes it into the honey supers or the honey itself. Well, that's not allowed in Canada. Well, why isn't it? It's not because it's any different danger here. It's just that it's never been, nobody has changed the registration here, right? There's not a big pharma behind oxalic acid because it doesn't cost anything. It's super cheap. So it's unlikely to change.
Yeah, OA is in honey.
Yes, it is. So is formic. What levels is the question?
If you have apibioxal with the label that says it's legal. Yep.
course it is, because that's the recommended OA, right? It's the only OA that the agency
Was
recommends.
that what they call it?
Yeah, happy bioxide.
Happy bioxide.
Which you can find at Man Lake for about 4 times what you can buy a bag of regular oxalic acid on.
It's like, no, so perfect comparison would be you get a branded drug at the drugstore or a generic. So that's the same thing. In this case,
also known as
bioxide is the branded name, and oxalic acid is the generic name. Both the same thing.
Well,
as a matter of fact,
there's that comment about it's called price gouging. It's called paying the people who've done all the research and bothered to pay thousands and hundreds of thousands of dollars to register the damn stuff so we can use it.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody's got to pay for that, and if it's not me and you, it's not going to be anybody. So we're not going to use any of it.
Right.
Somebody's got to pay it back.
That's true.
And a side note, just in case you guys want to know about this, a branded pharmaceutical, well, a generic that wants to copy a branded pharmaceutical only has to be 80%. What is it? It only has to be 80% as good as the branded. So it's not exactly the same, and that's why they get away with lower prices. Not only that, but because they didn't pay any money to do all these tests for like 10 years. They didn't do the research. All they did was copy the molecule. So, but it only has to be 80% of whatever the branded drug produces. So now
I couldn't answer Brian's question because we're in different countries, so he's kind of referring to something that doesn't apply in my country, so I couldn't really answer the question that you were asking.
But yes, that is true, what he's saying. I mean,
it is true, yeah.
Sure.
So everybody that uses Florida labs, i.e. me, is basically off-label.
You're an outlaw.
That wholeheartedly.
I remember when I started keeping bees, let's see, you guys, all except for Alex, were not allowed to use oxalic acid vapor because nobody had registered it. Well, somebody did. It cost them a lot of money too.
And time. And that's why.
So you get to choose.
Yeah.
You get to choose. You're going to say, hey, thanks. I'll buy a bag of that stuff from you. Or not. That's your choice.
True.
It's not always about price.
Charlie's always quiet.
Well, not always.
Until Ian comes on this. Hey, Spike. Hey, Spike. How's it going, Spike? Good to see you, Spike. Spike.
Oh. Poor Charlie.
So, if you didn't see, I know we got more people on right now. If you didn't see Charlie's stream last night, Corey Stevens came on at about, hour and 50 minutes in. It's quite a good chat last night. So, check that out. Make sure you check that out for sure. Hey, I got a chuckle out of Larry there. That's good. Charlie, wake up.
I'm here.
What'd you do today? Your mic's kind of low.
Oh, now it is.
Oh.
Holy smokes. What was that?
I turned the mic on.
You had the mic off?
Way up.
This whole time?
That's funny.
I'm scared now.
He was one step away from sawing logs back there.
I don't know. I just worked today. I didn't go out in the bee yard. It was kind of cool and breezy and all that. And actually, I went up to Lloyd's house and they were making frames and checking on to see when we might be going south. I don't know. It seemed like it's been raining down south a lot.
I think it's supposed to rain tomorrow.
Yeah,
Question for you, Todd.
Huh?
Exercise bike for the cat. $10.
Peabody,
from Norman.
got a question for you.
That was on your channel, Brad.
Yeah, today I went and bought like my food for fall because I didn't want to get caught without sugar again. So I moved 1,500 pounds of sugar. I'm kind of tired.
Wow, 1,500. Yeah, I believe that because it's now a registered product and governed by an agency. So of course the government's going to want some money.
Your website is broken at that B-man at Faith Apiaries.
No, it's not. I just checked. It's fine.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm watching it.
The website, his website?
No. Oh, I thought he meant the channel.
I don't know. He said website, so I checked the website.
Oh,
It's fine.
well, the channel's good too.
My channel's awesome.
That woodworking, I can't get enough of it. And pretty soon, when those bees move out, I'm not going to see any more woodworking for a whole year.
Oh, you make me feel bad.
Like I said, I'll send up my shipping address to you, and then you can make videos of making equipment for me.
Building some equipment for you.
It'll cost me an arm and a leg to ship it back, I'm sure. You know, you could put it in your trailer and drive down here and make some stuff for me at the farm and then drive back. That way you won't have to videotape it. You didn't hear me, did you?
I think videotaping a little cheaper and easier.
So I have to brag on my son. Again, I know I did it with you guys earlier, but maybe not on the stream. It's the first time since I've been beekeeping that I've had help, and he was a great help today. So we got all the boxes I had assembled, all of the frames assembled, and put together foundation in them. So finally got caught back up. He says, "Dad, I'm gonna help you get caught back up." Code word, "Dad, give me money." Right. So so he drove down from Charlotte, and he put in 8 hours. So he put in a full day, and we did have a little break in the middle, but he worked the whole time, and definitely put in some work, and I appreciate it. So I know he's probably not watching the stream, but you know, it was good to spend the day with my son working in the honey house. He even got it cleaned up a little bit, so it's looking much better.
Oh, that's nice.
Michael says your tractor is the bomb.
It is. Don't say the B word.
B?
Yeah, that thing's my right arm. I just love that little thing.
Shane, pretty much.
All I can.
Trust me, my kids think I make more money than I actually do. But
They always do, don't they?
it's well, Dad, you're selling all this stuff. Yep, but that costs money too. You know, it's not all 100% profit. But I'm glad that he came down and showed some interest in something, and helped me out. And hopefully, we get to. No, I didn't put any GrubX down yet, and the main reason is because all the damage is done in the colony prior to them getting in the ground. I could break the cycle, but they can still fly in and do damage in the colony. So it's kind of futile. So right now the IPM bottom boards are helping. I'm going to say the Appy tablet seems to be dissuading some beetles from being in there right now. To what degree, I don't know. because all of the ones, I only had one colony that I saw hive beetles in, and it was one that didn't have a tablet on it. So I put tablets on it again this week.
Hey,
This stuff's pretty
Peabody's
amazing.
question up, Bob.
What'd you say?
Put Peabody's question up.
Peabody's question?
I noticed this 4 years ago when I was using it that it wasn't working anymore. That's basically what it was. It stopped working for me, or it didn't stop working for me. I wasn't 2 years in a row. I wasn't getting the results that I did see prior to that, and so I went somewhere else. That was it.
Yeah, putting the guard star down, I mean, it's not a hard thing to do. It's just I just haven't noticed it to be that effective for keeping beetles out of my colony. This last year was pretty bad for it. And then when I started with the Appy tablets, that was right at the same time I was having a huge beetle problem, right? So I did put IPM bottom boards on, and that helped, but still yet there was beetles in there in the colonies. And then when I put the tablet on, it seemed to go away. So we'll see this year if it keeps up and keeps being as effective as it is, as it has been.
Well, it kind of makes sense that it works at least somewhat against the beetles because they don't like the essential oil, the peppermint essential oil in the candies.
Well, I know it has both peppermint and eucalyptus in it.
So that might help against the beetles.
I don't know what all of the essential oils that are in it, but he did tell me that when I was in North Carolina. So it makes sense, yeah, that it would deter them a bit. Yeah, I used those too a little bit in this fall, but I find that what I end up with is a big mess because all the bees propolize them down to the frames, and then they don't want to. They're hard to get off, and I end up with a bunch of more paper in the yard with everything else that I've got. So the IPM bottom boards, they did make a huge difference. So if you have a bad beetle problem and you can afford them, because they're $50 a piece, and that was the biggest deterrent for me, is that I wasn't looking to do just 1 or 5 colonies. I was looking to do 40, 50 colonies. So you're looking at 2,500 or something like that to retool. And it's just one of those things.
Yeah, but it's pricey, but from what I've seen, they're pretty effective at killing the beetles. So if you combine those bottom boards with the essential oils, either from the candy or the tablets, like it stacks to make them far more manageable, I'd say.
Yeah, it's it does seem to be doing it right now. I only had one colony that had any beetles in it, and they seem to be overcoming them. So how do I think the bottom boards will hold up, Michael? Well, I'm hoping they hold up. I mean, I bought them from Daydant, most of them, and they were painted and everything ahead of time, but they didn't do a very good job painting because I can already tell after half a year that they're looking kind of raggedy. Well, don't everyone talk at once?
Sorry, I've been looking around sugar all afternoon.
Charlie's reading.
Yeah, I'm reading Via High's comments.
I'm just looking at some of the comments too. Sorry.
I know that's what I've been doing.
Because in the morning, I went to get 5 boxes of frames. Yeah, 240 frames. Then I decided to buy the sugar for the fall feeding right away, not to get caught without any sugar again. So that's
How much did you buy?
1,500 pounds, 700 kilos.
Holy cow!
Hope it
You
doesn't go
already
hard on
got
you.
it?
Sorry, what?
I hope it doesn't go. The bag. Sometimes the bags, when I buy it too early, it goes hard. Goes
It-
hard
You
in the
know, it
bag.
crumbles pretty easily.
Okay. Well, good. So, you mind me asking what kind of prices you seeing
$32.99 here at
for
Costco.
20 kg? I think
Yes.
that's what we're paying. It's funny actually. I took a picture the other day at the store. The one store I go to, there are 20 kg bags, and I'm going to talk slow because I'm trying to look for a picture. There were 20 kg bags, and here it is, 10 kg bags. The 20 kg bags, which is what I normally buy. I'll buy a ton of those, like 150, 180 of those, are $32.99 a piece for 20 kg bags. Right beside them are 10 kg bags for $14.99.
That doesn't make any sense. It's cheaper to buy smaller. Yeah. Times 2, 28.
So if I buy the 10 kg bags, 20 kilograms cost me $30.
1 kg is 2.2 pounds, Jim.
Yeah.
I didn't have
So-
that on my Costco.
So that, I don't know. That's just bonkers.
They
Did
usually-
you notice the price of the 10s in Costco?
I didn't
Alex,
see.
or-
I saw 2 kilograms, 2 kilogram bags, but that's it.
But not
It was
10s.
either 20 or 2, so I took the 20s. Where am I storing all that sugar? I have a spare room now that my brother moved away. And since I don't want to put all that weight in one place in the apartment, the rest is in the living room.
The rest is where his television used to be.
Well, in
Gave
front
the
of my
brother
old
the boot.
TV,
Now he's
actually.
got space.
Yeah, I had space because, like I said, I got 5 boxes
you have
of
sugar.
20 and 40 bags of sugar. I put 20 in the spare room and 20 in my living room because
Your landlord's going to be trying to figure out why there's structural problems with his building.
Yeah.
All this
that's why I
sugar in
didn't
a
all put
bedroom.
it all in one spot. I don't want to cause structural
I'll be
problems.
right back. I'm gonna grab a drink, guys.
That's why they won't let you have a water bed.
But yeah, like half, almost a ton of honey of sugar in one spot.
15.
That can't be good for the building. So yeah, I put it in two
How many-
spots.
So how many bags is that? 1,500 pounds?
40
40
bags.
Dang.
You-
That's a
you-
lot of
I
hauling sugar.
had
Those
5
up the
and I
stairs.
bought 35, so I got 40 total.
You're upstairs too, aren't you? You
Well,
got some
only
stairs
no,
to go
no.
up?
I'm on not ground level, but it's like four or 5 steps up.
Oh yeah, okay. Still, that's
It's
enough.
a triple because it's a small apartment.
Well,
It's
you
not-
could use them as
not-
seats. They get kind of personal with you after a while. They get
Yeah,
molded.
stack them
into-
up. You can use them as a sofa. You can make furniture out of them. All kinds of stuff.
Yeah, they'll form right. They're very
You can
formed.
make
Yeah.
a throne out. Oh, sorry, I hit the mic. You can make a throne out of sugar bag like Thanos in the
Absolutely.
Avengers.
Yeah.
Well,
He
yeah.
had the legit game of drones thrown. It's all sugar. Sitting back.
Instead of the Iron Throne, it's the Sugar Throne.
Coffee table. That's it. Then you can just cut a hole in the top so you could fill your tea or your coffee with the sugar right out of the top of
And
it.
I punctured
Thank
one
you
of
for
the
buying
bags.
local honey, Norman.
Wow. I caught it just in time before it made too much of a spill in my car, but it's annoying.
know,
I had
Oh yeah, there's always going to be one breaks.
I know Brad talked about that
Because
sugar
the,
getting
like-
hard, but I got paper bags like from Walmart, and sure enough, they still get hard in the basement. But I got
Yeah.
these bags from the restaurant store, which are plastic, I guess you would call it. But they got minute perforations in over to let the moisture out or whatever. They don't never get hard. They're just
Well,
as
like the 5
Nice.
bags I had, just lifting them and dropping them on top of the newer ones just broke up the sugar and it went back to normal.
So Charlie, do you mean that's the bag that the sugar comes in?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is it kind of like a
plastic
Tyvek?
bag seems to work better than the paper. It doesn't draw the
Does it seem
moisture.
like kind of a Tyvek bag, maybe? Is that the sort of
I don't know.
what
It's
it
just
feels like?
it's regular, uh, you know, plastic bag. White plastic
Yeah,
bag.
yeah,
But
yeah.
you can kind of see some perforations in it to where it maybe lets moisture out or whatever. But they never,
Yeah.
they're just as soft. And I just used one here to make some sugar bricks, and the
If you
stuff is
keep that
just,
sugar in air-conditioned space,
yeah,
Alex, it'd probably be okay.
yeah. Oh.
I can't. It's too much. It's the humidity. Once the humidity in summer gets high, it starts to absorb it.
Let me see.
Now, Tom and Melissa, don't tell Robert where you're getting that tote of sugar.
It'll be a 6-week conversation.
Yeah.
The Jim said he used Apis Biologic in his sugar syrup for the first time today.
Oh, good luck with
Well,
that.
he's gonna like the results. Such a good.
Yeah, it's a good product. Yeah, very cost effective too.
So my buddy told me that I can get a tote of syrup for $50 more than I was paying for it. So if you break that down over the number of gallons, it's pretty cost effective still. So I'll probably be doing that.
Oh,
I would say so for what you're paying.
You were getting real cheap anyway.
Yeah, so instead of 500 for 250 gallons, it would be 550. So
nickel a gallon increase.
Gosh.
Yeah, so the biggest problem is that they have a forklift, but they don't have a forklift that will they can't get it out of the building, right? So it was evidently lifted in there at some point on a forklift or something. And so I would have to go over there and gravity drain one tote into my tote. And I don't know how long that would take, but it would still be worth it to, drive up there and get it.
Well, I thought they pumped it over on your thing.
Well, they did, but when those guys got in trouble or whatever, I can still get it, but I got to get it from the warehouse side of it instead of that pump deal. So, and it's already
so if they could load it, that tote comes with it.
Yeah, so I already have a tote, right? So I would just go over there and have to gravity drain from their tote to my tote.
But that's what I'm asking. Like, if there was a way to get it in your truck, that tote comes with it.
Yep.
You could just get another tote. Boy, that's a sweet deal. Those totes sell for a lot of money here.
I just don't want my little backyard full of 27 totes and 5,000 bee boxes like it is.
And add the paper, man. Start selling totes.
I don't know. I think it was something more to do, not that they were selling it, but they weren't really tracking what they sold. So inventory was an issue. So I think that's what happened.
Isn't that?
Yeah, it was the waste. So I don't know why it was an issue, but whatever. I don't work there.
Was the person using
maybe
Apis Biologics for the first time? Make sure you freeze the bags once you're done using them, because it goes bad if you just leave them at room temperature.
What? Yeah, make sure you put it in the freezer once you open it if you're not putting the whole thing in, because it'll absorb moisture
and go bad.
So
Peabody's got a comment about carniolans.
Do what? Who does?
Peabody got a comment about carniolans.
Oh, okay.
I love the fact that they clustered through winter with 3 to 4 frames. I had zero food stores.
Food store issues. So down below
that. Is that?
Yeah, I gotta take it up there, and when I refill it, it's $5.50. But they'll drain it into the tote. but you have to call ahead of time and call the warehouse, and they have to have it ready for you and all that stuff. So it's not as simple as before. I call, I'm coming, drive up, they pump it full, and then I leave. It's a little bit more to it.
Who were you giving the money to? Were you still getting a receipt, or were they putting it in their pockets?
All I know is I went up there and handed money to an employee of Domino Sugar. What happened to it after that point, I have no idea.
There you go.
That's probably why you can't get it like that anymore.
That's between them and their company. That's all I'm saying.
Now you have to go through the front door.
Let me see.
Well, welcome, Railroad. Thanks for checking us out. Friend of Norman's, apparently.
Is this somebody up in Canada?
I don't know. I don't know where this railroaded person is.
Who's Norman?
That's it. Serpentine, cash in pocket. That's it.
Norman's friend. He's interested in bees and us crazy bee people, but he doesn't have bees himself right now.
Mm.
So what's the over and under if I'm going to get a email
Northern
confirmation from KRTP that I submitted my CV?
I don't know. You might get a confirmation.
It might be like, thanks, but no thanks. Thanks for playing.
Thanks for playing.
He's up there.
We're in Northern Alberta.
Yeah, he's up there close to James, maybe.
Well, I'm interested to know where you are, Northern Alberta.
Yeah, are you up there around Grand Prairie Railroad?
Oh.
Or Calgary?
Oh.
I hope I don't know if they're out or not. Probably for the moment.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
When I heard that, I thought of James right away.
Yeah.
James
Yeah.
But who knows? Bob might invade Canada.
Hey, if they say it's a seasonal job, don't think I won't buy me a used RV and be like, Brad, I need a place to park this for a few months.
Well, he's already got an RV up there waiting
out
for
the
you.
shitter. Like Eddie.
Cousin Eddie.
He'll be like, just make sure you bring a lot of grits.
He says Grand Prairie. He's right there next to Alex.
Yeah.
Or James, I mean.
James, yeah.
Not Alex.
I mean, the other side of the country.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we've got a regular up at Grand Prairie Railroad. He might drop in sometime.
No, we like Canadians.
The
Look at the last. Don't like Canadians.
No, we like.
Well, there's two of them on here now.
No, we were just. Well, we make fun of everybody, right? So,
yeah, that's our shtick. Heck, I was just up in Canada.
How was the cold?
Yes, you were. Wasn't very cold.
It didn't really get cold till the day I was leaving, and that was a sight to see.
Or to feel.
Well, you're lucky. It was rather this winter here in Quebec. The winter was really mild. I don't think we hit -20 at all. I don't remember the last time that happened. We usually, especially in February, we usually get -30, -40 sometimes. I don't know in Fahrenheit, but
Hey, Sebastian.
yeah. But this winter was really warm.
Well, was it 20 degrees?
-20, -17. I think is the coldest we got.
That's shorts weather for Brad.
Yeah,
right.
I sit there and watch your
I
video.
picked
Where's
Bob
your
up
hat
at the
at?
airport
Where's your
in
hat
shorts.
at, Brad?
My hat.
Yeah, so shade your eyes and stuff like that.
Oh,
And I
in
believe,
the video.
Todd, are your glasses transitions to where you go?
No, and you know what? I bought them and they're glare resistant. But guess what?
Yeah, I see it. The
Flare resistant.
So bees hate these transitions. When you go outside and they get dark, man, they want to get right in your face.
They look like big black eyes.
Oh yeah, look, big bug eyes, right?
Yeah, sets them off. And you've like your veil gets swarmed.
Oh yeah, they hate it. If I'm walking through the yard, that's the first thing they go to is those glasses now. Plus 12 in the UK.
What you could do once those lenses are no longer useful, you can make a venom collection out of them.
Right, just let them
You
sting
can
the
just
crap out
pump
of them.
them out and set them off in front of the hives.
Oh, yeah, they dislike it for sure. Well, my bees dislike me in general.
Like how do you say that? Like when I open the hive, all I see is hate, something like that.
Yeah, the hate keeps them warm. That's why they survived winter so well.
The hate keeps them warm.
It's like that inner fire is burning all the
hilarious.
time. If the weather's good tomorrow, knock on wood, I've got so much to do. I'm gonna try to get out there, and I'll even light a smoker for you skeptical people to show you that this colony does not matter with these guys. If I smoke them out of the top, they're just going to come roaring out of the front. You'll be amazed at this one colony. I'll have to have full body armor on.
Smoke the guard bees first, buddy. Just give a nice little whiff across through the entrance a bit. Those are the guard bees. That's what you want to do first.
They're going to be if I can get, well, yeah, I'll be in full Kevlar at that point. Body armor. I'll have the 45. I might have to have a 45 strapped to my side. So if they get too anxious, I'll just start shooting the box. I mean, they're pretty aggressive. It cracks me up when Brad gets done.
To do.
Do we just shoot it?
Just shoot it.
That's because we're allowed to have our ammo and our weapon in the same location.
You don't like it? Just shoot it.
I might have to try the old what's the not the cordite, what's the other, the tannerite.
Oh, yeah.
I'll just put some tannerite in there when I'm ready to eliminate that colony. Just blow it to bits.
Comment up, Bob. Put Norman's comment up.
Yeah, I saw that. I was going to say something.
He cheats it like a mosquito bite. By the way, the mosquito is the provincial bird of Manitoba.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. No kidding. A mosquito bite bugs me more than a bee sting because they last for quite a few days. They're itchy. They're terrible.
I got
bee sting not much.
Well, when I first started beekeeping back in 2020, my first stings, they hurt a lot for 4 or 5 days. Like my forearm was like swollen, almost half a thin inch thick. Like it was, and oh god, that hurt for so long. But now it only hurts when I get stung. Basically, when the dart punctures the skin, and there's no more reaction.
Spicy bees don't really like bother me that much. I mean, but there's a difference between spicy and muy caliente, which
versus California Reaper.
Mine come out singing African chants. You know,
you're dressed up like an astronaut though when you go work your bees. You're just
when my bees come out, they've got bones through their nose. There's an issue there.
Didn't Mark say put a bunch of tobacco in your smoker and
get them all sick or be throwing up?
So go buy a bag of pipe.
I tried that once.
Throw it in there.
I tried that once. It's really expensive.
You know,
I
what's
can
funny
imagine.
is when I got stung as a kid, I'd run in the house. My mom would grab my dad's pipe tobacco can and wet a little bit of it and put it on my where I got stung. And man, the pain was gone within 30 seconds.
Really?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, sorry.
Is that like peeing on a jellyfish sting?
maybe.
What?
I don't know, but I've never been.
You've never
stung by
heard that?
jellyfish.
If you get stung by a jellyfish, they say pee on it.
That's just weird.
That's
Am
just
I the
stuff
only
your
one who
buddy
knows
says.
that?
I know
somebody in our
exactly
chat has heard
what
that.
you're talking about in that beach episode. So I know what you're talking about.
I wonder if
That's
it's
just
like the
something your
uric
buddy says
acid
to
or
you
something.
so that he'll let you pee on you.
On top of the jellyfish stings.
Well, see, what's that the rapper that's in jail right now for that kind of thing?
Yeah, the one.
The one, that's what I would have told them. Oh, well, they all got stung by jellyfish. All 32 of them? Well, you know. It wasn't at the same time. Draws it out. R. Kelly, there you go. That's the one, R. Kelly.
Well, I had an incident where my left foot got wet in the bathroom at Chicago O'Hare, but we won't go there.
Oh, dude.
You know, I made that statement when I was in North
And it wasn't
Carolina
me.
at the beekeeping convention. I said, why is it when you go into a public restroom, there's always pee all over the floor? I mean, I've had this thing my whole life.
Whoa,
And I'm pretty sure every other guy in there has had theirs their whole life. So you would think they could use it a little bit more proficiently, but
I
they
might have
don't.
to take a
Oh dear, I
break here.
think we're officially off the road in the ditch.
In the ditch. Oh, I forgot we're streaming to 4 channels. So sorry, everybody that's not on my channel. If you're on my channel, you already know what to
Not
expect.
on mine.
There's Spanky.
It's on Alex's.
Hey, Spanky.
Hi,
How you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right.
You got anything
Hey,
good going
Spanky.
on?
I did a bunch of yard work today.
I saw your 3D printed hive. You gonna load it with bees?
Oh, I gave that to Ricky.
Is Ricky gonna load it with bees?
He might, yeah.
I'd like to see that. That'd be cool.
3D printed hives.
Bob has moved this hive in a different location. That's for sure. But it's true.
He's gonna find out that the bees are gonna be all gone.
Surely, and another thing, if you've ever been to another country and you compare it to the U.S., if you ever go into a stall, our stalls are much higher. The doors are much higher off of the ground than in every other country. Don't know why, but they are.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
Space at the bottom.
Yep.
Well, yeah, you need that space.
Some viewing room, I guess. I don't know.
Oh,
And most of the doors, whoever engineered them, are you could see right in them. Not that you want to, but
you want all the ventilation you can get.
I'm kind of tired now.
well, you don't have to worry about it, Todd. You don't have anybody watching the stream on your channel anyway.
Well, yeah. What's my number? Is it?
It was 0. I don't know what it is right now. Oh, you got 1. You must have turned it back on.
I think Brad's watching it.
Brad's watching it on your channel.
Yeah.
I'm just getting a viewer from the
I
toilet
actually am.
You are.
I'm gonna give
He's
you a
not
like.
now. Okay. So, all right. Well, maybe
I
Charlie
am.
is.
I just gave you a like too.
Danae says half doors are cheaper.
I wish
Yeah,
I
they
don't know
had.
if I believe that.
Hit the like button, eh? Everybody. Bob's got 29 people taking advantage of his channel, and I just clicked like, and there's only 1 like, so that was me.
Well, thank you,
So hit the
Brad.
like button, eh? You're welcome.
Yeah, it's just it's funny differences in different countries. Like in Germany, when you go into the bathroom, you got to put a coin in to unlock it. If you're in a public restroom, you got to pay to get in.
They like
We
their
used to have
coins.
those here many years ago. It was a dime to use the toilet.
I've never seen that.
You could put it.
was
What I would have done is I would have put the coin on the inside where you had to put a coin in to get out.
Get out.
You can always slide under it to get in, but you can't slide under it to get out. Hardly. Be my luck. I'd be the only one in there doing my business and not have any change in my pocket and be like hollering for people. Hey,
We're
anybody
talking
got a
about
quarter?
pay toilets. Oh my goodness. Goodness. Okay.
Can you put your quarter back after you're done?
No, it's not like all these shopping carts.
Like Aldi's.
That cat. Pet me. Now, the cat says.
Do the thing, Brad.
Do the thing.
Hey,
Okay. Find a spot. Oh boy. We all want a little loving, don't we? This
he's
guy's no
just
different.
an old man. He's all right.
He is a senior citizen, this guy. He's very old. Very old.
You know, and of all the people, old people in this chat, Todd's the oldest.
Oh, you
Todd
would
is
have
the
to bring that. No, I'm not. No, I beg to differ.
Is Charlie the
older than
oldest? I thought you were the oldest.
I'm older than you and Brad.
Put together.
Oh, oh man. So, how was your day, Charlie? Since everybody wants to talk about toilets and restrooms and washrooms.
You would have never went there if y'all were talking about bees.
I sold, I think, about 26 pounds of honey this week,
Nice.
which is, I've been averaging anywhere from 15 to 20 a week, which has been quite good. I mean, I don't know. It's going out the door pretty quick on a weekly basis. And then yesterday, I don't think it was yesterday. No, was it yesterday? Day before, I went and reevaluated my bees a little bit more. With the extra hour of daylight, I was able to do that while it was warm.
Thank you, Norm.
And then I worked this morning, and we had a great night last night on the chat, which I enjoyed that a lot. And so I was able to get up this morning and get to work, and had a few people come in and all that. And then I was going to get into the hives this afternoon, but it was 58 degrees, but it was a cold, windy 58. And the bees were flying some. I don't know. I might get out there tomorrow. It's supposed to be right around 60. And check a few things in the nuke yard, make sure that they got space and room. And
your nuke yard is like in the same row, right? It's like all
it's all in the same. It's all in the same row and everything. Yeah. Norm talked about. Ricky put up a video about him visiting here about 3 weeks ago. I guess it's been. That was nice. Nice visit, and showed my operation and stuff that I showed him all around for all the
It was
different
a good
things.
video. I watched that one today.
A little bit of everything that I showed him and all. And that was, it was good to see Ricky and all that. And that's pretty much it, just the weather is just not settled yet. It's been a roller coaster ride. This week we were 60s, mid 70s on one day. And then we're talking rain coming in, which it did rain a little bit, not much. Last Sunday, for the folks, pretty windy here too.
No, it says, Charlie, is it pretty windy where you're at? Looks flat.
Yeah, we got some. Yeah, I got a flat area where we live, but there's a hill. There's a sort of like a valley or a hill like that, and the wind comes from the back of those hives behind me, where the red cab is and everything there, and it blows up through there 30 some miles. I had some wind blowing yesterday. It was 30 miles an hour or something like that, and we get a lot of wind. And my nukes, I place them right alongside our barn because of that. And so that's why I still have my wraps on. Last Sunday we were getting snow squalls where it was sort of like sleet, snow mixed together, and cold. And then this week, like you say, we had 3 or 4 days of relatively warm weather. Now we're going back the other way where there's supposed to be a cold front coming out of James's area, I think, down where maybe out of Brad's area, coming down out of Canada, and that's going to put us back in the 40s, high 40s, very low 50s. It might be 50, 51 if it gets into the 50s.
We're supposed to get a day like that at night where it's in the 30s this week coming up.
At nighttime, we've this morning I got up, it was 7 o'clock, I guess it was, and I was in the car and it was like 36 degrees. So we've gotten a lot of cold nights. Last week we did, the weather guys were talking, hey, it's 50 some degrees at night. Well, we only had a few days like that. So it's just been a roller coaster ride. And I had thought about rearranging my honey production hives, the ones that are up and running really good. And that means I was going to do my modified demery. We're bringing up brood to the top, but I think the bees would not be able to cover it good enough to keep it warm so it wouldn't chill. So I just left everything as it is right now. And that's kind of where I'm at. Just kind of waiting for weather to settle type of thing. So, and after that, I like to get the nukes out the door and get them done, get them out of my area. So we'll see what happens.
That's kind of how we've been, is that everything is kind of up and down, has been. And in the past, I've always split too early. And then we get that cold, that cold temperature drop and chill a lot of brood out. So trying to wait longer in the year to do my splits and everything. So
yeah, I mean, I would say that our weather patterns are changing, I mean, as far as this global warming thing. There's a new folk person here, American Bee.
Nice critter, Brad.
Thanks. He's a good boy. He's an old fella. He's well over 17 years old.
Really? That's
Yep.
old. That's old for a cat.
Yeah, he's an old guy.
Spanky, I sent Ricky a photograph. I have 2 hives that basically look just like what you made out of plastic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, where it's got it was designed for a sort of a demery type of thing where you had a queen on both sides of the box, and then in the center was a tower where you would put your 10 frame, your honey supers and stuff. And the 2 queen, it was supposed to have been a 2 queen hive, but I had problems keeping 2 queens live at the same time. One would die or something, and then you only have 1 queen. I think Brad had that same issue years ago. And
I stopped doing it for that reason.
And then like at the show at Hive or the expo this year, George, who had the beekeepers the beekeepers hive or something, huh?
Is it the keeper's hive?
The keeper's hive. He was the one that came up with that idea of the 2 queen thing. Now he's went to the single, sort of the L-shaped hive. Same principle and all. It's just a different sell point and all that. Whether he actually gets it off the ground, I don't know. He thinks he's going to get a manufacturer to build it for him, as long as he's got 500 hive sales for it. But I don't know. It's kind of a, what would you call it?
It's kind of complicated for what it is.
Yeah, it's not that
really exactly. It's exactly what I was doing when I was doing that. I could access the whole brood chamber from,
Right.
what I was doing. So I wish him
Well, it's
well, but
pretty.
certainly
It's
nothing
relatively.
new.
It's kind of relatively close to your your 3-way pallet with your nukes. Same sort of concept, and then even with your nukes, you're saying that that middle nuke sometimes goes queenless on you because of the way it works.
Yeah, I don't know if I've noticed the middle one going queenless any more often than the other two, but it does happen. They just don't requeen when they have problems, right? They don't requeen.
Yeah, that happened to me last year. And when I tried to give them a queen, they just killed it.
There's
Yeah.
probably a queen in there.
No, it was queenless. It was like it was too like a double hive, a resource hive, and I made the mistake of connecting them with honey supers. It was like a queen excluder on top of both hives.
Yeah, that's how this.
So they were connected via the honey supers. That was a mistake.
Yep.
They basically
Too
thought
much
they were
pheromone.
they had a queen. So next year I'm
Too
not
much
going to do
pheromone.
that.
Yep.
I'm just going to
Yeah.
keep them separate.
American Bee is in WA. What's that? Washington State.
Yeah.
He's up there with what? What's the other beekeeper that has the bees
DC's up there.
DC's up there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mike Palmer is close to that spot too. He's in
Eastern
Vermont.
Eastern Washington.
Washington, Vermont's on the East Coast, and Washington's on the West
Okay,
Coast.
never mind then. I was thinking Washington D.C. in New York State. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, same thing, Alex. It's the same principle. This hive that the setup was built and had the same issues that you were having, and that's why I go with single nuke boxes when I'm working with bees. And something that a guy he was here in our state and he went out to Texas, but anyway, he was talking about like a 4-way mating box, and you have the dividers in a 10-frame box, and you have 4 compartments or at least 3 compartments or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And he was saying that he had queen breeding, his breeding, not all 4 queens would get bred, or one was died or killed or whatever. I think maybe when the cells were in there. And he was saying that, like, if one compartment, the queen, they started chirping, that the other bees in the other compartments would hear that queen chirping, and they would run over and kill that queen cell in those other compartments. I don't know whether that actually happened, but that's what he thought of.
So how are they getting access to the other hive?
They could hear the other queen through the wall.
But how are they getting access to the other hive?
Well, you have 4 compartments, so the bees and
Yeah, but how does a queen in one compartment get access to the other?
No,
hive?
he was saying the workers killed him.
The workers killed
not
him.
The queen, but I always thought it was
Oh,
the queen that would knock down a cell, not a worker.
yeah.
No, I mean, most of the time, from what I gather, is when if you have 3 cells, queen cells in a hive, and the one's getting ready to merge, she'll start piping.
Yeah.
And the worker bees go bananas and they start tearing down the other queen cells.
They can do that.
Huh?
Yeah, they can do that.
They do that.
Workers can tear them down. Yeah.
Did not know.
What's got single elk brood management?
Yeah, that keeper's hive is like that.
He's joking. You always say single brood chamber management.
Yeah.
Well, guys, it's now midnight. We've been on for almost 2 hours, so. And the
pumpkins.
Yeah, we're going to turn to pumpkins. And we're going to turn into shamrocks on this St. Patty's Day weekend.
And turn it into something.
Yeah.
So I think we'll cut the live stream portion off for this evening. And we appreciate everybody showing up and everybody supporting all the different channels, except for Todd's because nobody showed up.
Sign up for mine and nobody else is there.
Yeah, make sure you go over to Todd's and hit the subscribe button over there.
Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe and the like.
For
I never say
everybody's
that.
channel. For everybody's channel.
Yeah.
Michael, I don't know why you don't get my notifications because I don't block people on my channel. I've got one person that's blocked on my channel, but for some reason when I go live, you don't get my notifications. So, I don't know what it is. But anyway, we appreciate you guys, and we will see you guys on the next live stream. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.